Hey, I believe we have the Lieutenant Governor on the line. Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing very well. So, we were talking during the break. I'm gonna probably. I don't think I'll throw you a curveball because I'm sure you're probably up on the news. But Christy, when she came in, told me, and I hadn't heard because we were on the air doing that. And then had a listener send me a note also. But the passing of former Secretary of State Colin Powell this morning, and
Yeah.
I just thought I might get your comments on that because a leader, no matter which party, that's what we were talking about. He's won the cross-party lines, and I think the respect level goes beyond beyond the pale on Colin Powell.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. He did cross the line. He was very well respected of the Republicans and Democrats. Obviously, gave his life. Military career is very hard to compare his military career to others. Just a wonderful man and someone else. There's probably very few people in America today that don't know someone that's been adversely affected by COVID or has passed away from COVID. So. Big loss for this country.
Absolutely. And I didn't know whether you had a chance to meet him or if you have political heroes, but I think he falls in the hero category for a lot of aspiring politicians.
Yeah, I was able to meet him. I had the honor of meeting him a couple different times back in the Bush years when I was kind of hustling around running campaigns and went to a few events where he spoke at. And he was a wonderful speaker as well. He, over the last decade or so, has spent a lot of time speaking on leadership. One of his big topics. Wrote a few books on the topic of leadership as well. So yeah, I was honored to hear him speak a few different times.
Yeah, when Christy told me that this morning, we clicked on it to make sure because you don't want to be false on that. But that's the breaking story of the day here. So with you coming on today, I thought that's something that we could run by you, and I know that your ties with
Sure.
the Bush administration a little bit there. Let's talk about what's going on with it. You want to talk homecoming, I think, a little bit because homecoming is coming up. Where are we?
A week
from
away.
this weekend.
That's
wow.
right.
Are you going to be here for that?
Yes, I'm going to try to get out there for it. As you all know better than anybody, one of the largest and best homecoming celebrations in the country. And I think this year is also the centennial homecoming celebration. So started with only 90 alumni in 1920 and now draws over 100,000 people to Stillwater every year. So huge economic impact for the city.
Christy?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely right. And we love, too, that homecoming events go on for a good 9 days. And it's a great way to get the students involved, the faculty, staff, the community. Everybody loves a homecoming. But like you said, it is the 100th anniversary celebration. So this is going to be just above and beyond this year.
Are you going to be riding in the parade?
I believe so. We have a bunch of volunteers that will be out there. We'll have I don't know if you would call it a float, but we'll be walking in the parade with a lot of other politicians I know that will have that will be in that parade. So I'm not exactly sure what the game plan is going to be for us, but we're going to have a presence there for sure. I can assure you of that.
Well, in talking to our emergency management director last Friday, I'll give you some advice. Don't throw candy.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because he'll come after you, even if you're lieutenant governor of the state.
Yeah.
It's a great parade, though. I mean, I love the homecoming parade, and like was mentioned, we consider it the largest and the greatest homecoming event in the country. And I've been to some big ones. I went to Gator Growl and Florida States, and it's big, but it's a day or two, and ours is a whole week. So it is huge. It's fun to be able to go to all of those events, and the parade to me is one of the best. We have bands of 20 people and we have bands of 200 people, and it's just, to me, it's a neat opportunity for different organizations around the entire state to be able to showcase what they have.
Yeah, I had a text and they said you were right behind the horses, so enjoy that.
There you go. Good. Well, I mean, I think it's another example too of just the economic impact of sport.
Absolutely.
How much of an impact sports has in the state, multi-million-dollar impact the OSU homecoming is. But every Saturday when we have home games, the hotels that are filled up, the restaurants, the small businesses that are doing sales. So, that shopping local thing that we talk about a couple weeks out of the year when we should be talking about it 365, 24/7. I know Christy does, and I do when running the tourism department. but we really need Oklahomans, recognizing how important that is, not just on Saturdays when we have home football games, but really every weekend.
And that's been one of the emphasis when we've had you on. We've talked about tourism, and when you go and speak at various things, are you surprised at how many people are just now learning about the diversity of Oklahoma?
Yeah, I really am, and COVID really, there's been some positives that have come out of this global pandemic, and one of them is, I think, Americans realizing how important it is to support their small business owners, support their restaurants. People are going to shop every once in a while on Amazon. I get it, but going down Main Street in Stillwater and shopping one or two more trips down there versus going online makes a really big difference, and could be the difference to that small business owner being able to pay rent for the month. Because right now we still have a lot of small business owners hurting, kind of post-COVID here, and we need to make sure we recognize that and we help them out through some of these tough times.
Boy, I absolutely agree with that. And, you don't get customer service by ordering items online, but you sure do when you go next door, or you go downtown, or you go to your different shopping areas. And and it's not always the case, but I would personally prefer to pay a little bit more if I'm getting good customer service. And because if it's not quite right, or if you need to tweak something or whatever, those people are your neighbors, and they're the ones that are going to be able to help you, and they have an invested interest in making sure you're happy with your purchase as well.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to do that.
And the other big reason I think folks are going to be shopping more this holiday season is you got a bunch of stuff stuck on boats in the middle of an ocean right now. So
that's right.
We've all heard those stories about how backed up things are with getting things from overseas. So I think that it could also fuel shopping local again this holiday season, which is a great thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and the way our tax structure is set up, we have the mayor coming up right after you, in fact, and I think he would echo this, and the fact that if you're going to fund things, you've got to have that tax base. I mean, shopping local can make or break a community right now.
Yep, absolutely. The mayor will tell you that to pay for police and fire and all those other things that any mayor across our state has to pay for. It's due in large part to sales tax revenue. And sales tax is king in most any town across Oklahoma. And certainly the sales tax that is going to be created this weekend in Stillwater is going to be huge. And as Christy said, for 9 days. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. And it's neat, too. It's great exposure. A lot of my friends who aren't necessarily sports fans or athletics fans, they do recognize the fact that sports is what gets you recognized nationally, because you have eyes on your campus, on your stadium. Every sports group is going to do some blurbs and mention local hot spots, and you can't pay for that kind of advertising. I mean, that is key to the success of a community.
Absolutely.
And when you look at what happened last weekend, by the way, Cowboys are number 8, Governor. So, and
hey, top 10, that's what we like to see.
That's big time.
Yeah, and Texas in one of the polls fell completely out.
Oh, did they really? I didn't notice that.
Darn.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
So what else is on your plate right now?
I would say one of the other big industries for us, a segment inside of tourism this fall is agritourism. It's one of the fastest growing segments inside our tourism department as a whole. These are tourists that are looking for something to do on a farm or a ranch, or a small main street. We describe that as agritourism as well. Obviously, the Stillwater's Farmers Market, which is one of the best farmers markets we have. Another example of this is the Hoffman Pecan Farm that you guys have. Yep. The Wildberry Blossom Country Farm just outside of Stillwater. Those are examples of really thriving tourism growth areas for us right now. Any farm or ranch, and really any farmer or rancher that's listening to this, the opportunities that you have to create another line of revenue off your farming and ranching operation, big opportunities for you right now. So, I know you take the family to a pumpkin patch from time to time, but there's so many other opportunities there to have a really fun time with your family or significant other at one of our agritourism opportunities that have across the state. And it's growing everywhere, all across the country, as more people are getting outside. Obviously, again, one of the positives that came out of COVID, agritourism is really big for us right now.
You know, since you've traveled all over, how many vineyards do we have in the state? We have a vineyard right outside of Stillwater.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Do we have many of those?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Actually, the ironic thing there too is it's one of the first movies to be filmed during COVID was a film filmed at one of our vineyards in Oklahoma, because we made our film and music industry a industry that we did not shut down during COVID. One of the very first movies in America was filmed right here in Oklahoma. Is at one of our vineyards.
Great.
Well, that's
no,
cool.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
so
either.
With the new studios we have, we're going to have more of those coming up here. So.
Well, and a big thank you to you also for all of your support of the film industry. That hasn't always been the case, and it really is big business for our state. And from my conversations with those folks, they really love coming to Oklahoma because of the work ethic and the expertise and our willingness to work with them.
Yeah, it's true. I just met a couple from Colorado that moved from Colorado into the kind of the Osage County Pawhuska area and have a buffalo ranch now, where they're showing buffaloes to bison, I should say, bison to folks coming in. And again, it's one of the biggest tourism destinations in Pawhuska, and that's really saying something, because there's a ton of tourism attractions in Pawhuska already. So you've got a lot of people moving to Oklahoma, and a lot of those people are moving to Oklahoma in a more business-friendly environment and creating tourism attractions, which we love to see.
Sounds great. Hey, good visit. We'll do this on a semi-regular basis now, I think. So
absolutely.
Looking forward to
see
that.
you guys this weekend.
Governor, thanks, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
There you go. There is Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell, and appreciate that. So
yeah,
and
did his research.
I'm glad he was aware. I thought because you don't know what news they're aware of. And we didn't talk ahead of time because it called live on the show. But about the passing of Colin Powell. We'll talk about that with I'm sure with the mayor coming up here. But when I was asking that, I thought I probably should have done a little bit of a pre-work on that. But he did know about it,
Sure.
so that's good.
Yeah, he knows a lot about a lot of different things. In fact, it's funny, every time I run into him, he'll know something about what's going on in Stillwater. He does his research, and he has really good folks here that also his field rep for this area. He's a avid fan of our website, so I think that's really cool too. And so I've always said, hey, if there's something that you think that we could do to enhance it or that we should add to it, always keep me in that loop too, because he's also looking at other websites of other communities throughout the state. So it's neat that that's a lot of work to to know different unique things about each community, for sure. Yeah. Right. So he's very knowledgeable. There's no doubt.
There you go. What do we miss that's going on in the area here?
Well, we were mentioning different things at the McKnight Center, and then Cowgirl softball against Wichita State. That's a big game. That's Wednesday night.